As I'm sure many of you know, I've always loved the Sly Cooper series. Ever since the first game was released back in 2002, it has remained a timeless classic. While it is not flawless by any means, nor the greatest installment in the series, it still maintains the same amount of charm. The story centers around a young raccoon thief named Sly Cooper, voiced by Kevin Miller, who is descended from a long ancestry of master thieves dating back thousands of years. His ancestors have documented their lives and special abilities in a book called the Thievius Raccoonus, which has become the Cooper clan's most prized possession. When Sly was a child, a gang of criminals known as the Fiendish Five broke into his house and murdered his father while Sly remained hidden. The thieves soon found the Thievius Raccoonus and tore it into 5 pieces to commit crimes of their own. Sly is then sent to an orphanage where he meets his 2 best friends, a tech-savvy turtle named Bentley, voiced by Matt Olson, and a hippopotamus who works as a getaway driver named Murray, voiced by Chris Murphy. The 3 friends grow up together and work to steal a case file from Inspector Carmelita Fox of Interpol, and they set off to retrieve Sly's birthright. The story, while simple, works great, and all of the characters are likable and have a ton of personality. Sly himself is a smooth-talking Lupin-type character, and he is played up to be lighthearted and doesn't let his past tear him down, so he never drags down the story with a dismal backstory. The members of the Fiendish Five are all cool and they have good introductions. Sure, I wish there was more time for character building, but they are all pretty witty and enjoyable to fight. You have the egocentric frog Sir Raleigh, the tough-as-nails gangster stacked like a brick wall named Mugshot, the voodoo priestess Miss Ruby, the destructive firework artist Panda King, and the leader of the gang, a mechanical owl named Clockwork. I just have to say, he is incredible and has a wonderful backstory which makes him the best villain in the series. Essentially, he is so fueled by hatred towards the Cooper clan that he replaced his organic body with machinery to avoid death and live on to destroy his rivals and become the ultimate thief. That's a lot of hate. Yeah, it's silly, but that's the whole point. It plays like a cartoon. The game is very committed to that style, and it really works. There are 5 story chapters for each of the bosses in the game, and in each location you need to collect keys to progress, although the process is pretty much the same. You collect 1 key after the starting level, then 3 to enter a new section, and finally 7 to confront the boss. The main area of each chapter serves as a mini-hub, where you can access the levels in any given order. The majority of these levels simply requires you to reach the key at the end of the stage, so they're all pretty much linear. The only exception to this is the 5th and final chapter, which is entirely linear. The game is focused on stealth, and it's pretty enjoyable to sneak around flashlight-wielding guards and dodging spotlights. It's nowhere near as impressive as later games, but the gameplay is diverse enough to not become stale. Whenever Sly is around blue sparkles, or thief senses as they're called, Sly can jump and press the circle button to grab on pipes, sneak along walls, slide down rails, and jump on pointed objects. All of these abilities feel very organic, and they control really nicely. There is a live system, and it's pretty much what you would expect. You die in 1 hit and respawn at the nearest checkpoint, but if you lose all your lives, you start from the beginning. There are coins that you can collect throughout the game, usually by breaking things and defeating enemies, and once you collect 100, you get a lucky charm that can protect you once if you are hit. This can stack, but you can only have 2 lucky charms maximum. Another cool feature is that there are several clue bottles to find throughout the levels, and once you collect them all, there is a safe that you can open to acquire a new thief ability. They aren't required, but they do make some levels a bit easier. Once you complete a level, you have the option to replay it, but you can also attempt a Master Thief sprint where you have to reach the end in an allotted amount of time. These are surprisingly hard and give you very little room for error. They aren't even required for anything except for 100% completion. In addition to that, there are some odd minigames such as this twin-stick shooting section, some cool vehicle sections, and a few races that are just plain bad. I'm sorry to say, but the racing mechanics in this game are dreadful. The controls are very bouncy, the AI of the other racers is significantly better, and the nitro boosts are about as effective as a fart while running a marathon. Luckily there were only 2 of them, but I never felt any true satisfaction after completing them, only relief. Despite this variety of gameplay, the overall tone is always consistent and makes you feel sneaky on several occasions. The environments are beautiful, well-detailed, and are very recognizable. When combined with the cel-shaded cartoonish animation and the gameplay, this creates a very unique atmosphere. The soundtrack has a nice neo-noir feel, and I found that it was composed by Ashif Hakik, And I mention this because Peter McConnell would later become the music composer for the rest of the series. I personally like McConnell's score better, but that's just me. With all of that said, I can definitely say that Sly Cooper and the Thievius Raccoonus still holds up for the most part. A lot of elements are dated by today's standards, but I still love it, and so do a lot of other people. I strongly recommend it, so if you haven't already, check it out.